Want to welcome everybody to a special new podcast that we're doing called Building Brownstown. And we're going to kick things off in the biggest way possible with the owners of your Cleveland Browns, Jimmy and Dee Haslam. Guys, this is an exciting time. Thank you for being here. And we're excited to talk about what should be a transformative event, not only for the Cleveland Browns, but for Northeast Ohio. So I want to go back because you and I, we've had conversations on sidelines many, many years ago when it didn't seem like a dome stadium was a possibility. When did it become a real possibility that the Cleveland Browns will be playing in a dome stadium?
Dee, why don't you go through the history of how we got there?
Well, I will, but first of all, we're incredibly excited. I mean, this is it's going to be, as you said, transformational for this region. And we're really looking forward to it. But I'll take you back. We started, with Mayor Jackson in 2018, talking about what could happen to the stadium on the lakefront. And he asked us to do a plan of what the lakefront would look like. So we worked with a terrific architect, Thomas Woltz, to come up with what we thought was a amazing plan. And then as time went on, Mayor Bibb came in and time went on with what their vision was for the lakefront. And it became more and more apparent that after looking at what we could do there, that there's so much more we could do for Northeast Ohio. We could do a bigger dream, really take care of our fans by building a dome. So that's when we started looking for property. And it's been, as you know, quite the process.
Yeah, so tell me about that process, because you're saying, okay, now this is an idea. Now we need to find a space. Now we need to find an architect. Now we need to find somebody who's going to excavate the space. All the little things that go into what will be, I think, a beautiful finished product, hopefully ready to go in 2029. What was that process like?
Well, ironically, when Mayor Bibb came in and he wanted to take a look at the overall design we'd come up with and decided to put out an RFP and use a different architect, that caused things to slow down. And during that time period, the DiGeronimo family, who we do some other things with, as you know, presented this 175-acre piece of property bounded by two interstates, clean, flat, has power, which is a huge deal in this world, right across from the airport, 12 miles from downtown, very close to where we are here in Berea. We started looking long and hard, and that's when we started having second thoughts about investing in our current facility, because it'd be like you had a not-so-good house in a not-so-good location, and that's what we finally figured out, and it would be real tough to fix it. The location challenges remain, so that's when we pivoted and started looking at Brook Park.
And you don't want to think short-sighted. I mean, this is a long play. I mean, the Superdome is 50 years old, so you're thinking, what can we do for Northeast Ohio that is a long play that really takes care of our fans and actually creates something pretty unique for Ohio?
Yeah, people, I think, forget maybe in 2014 you guys came in and put a lot of money into that stadium with that initial renovation. And at some point, to your point, you don't want to keep throwing money into something. You're saying, let's build something from scratch that is the dream.
Any monies we spent on the existing stadium would have been a temporary fix, maybe 10 or 15 years. It is a big project that will have, as Dee said, a transformative effect on Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, and Northeast Ohio, and will be around a long, long time.
So the big pushback, right, is not so much that there's a dome. I think a lot of people are very excited about that, but that it's not in downtown Cleveland. I know that you guys have exhausted every opportunity to see if that was feasible. Ultimately, why wasn't that feasible? And then that led you to that location in Brook Park.
We did work hard, and as we've said many times, it'd been way easier if there was an opportunity to put a dome stadium somewhere downtown. We looked hard at Burke this time last year, worked with the city and the county on that. The reality is there's two or three problems with Burke. One, that is built on a landfill, and so the soil is, I'll just say, not good. And number two, nobody can really tell you when Burke will be closed. Some people say 5 years, some people say never. I know when I brought it up to the governor, he just rolled his eyes and said, Jimmy, that's not happening. So then we pivoted away from there. As long as Burke is there, you can't put a roof on the current stadium, okay? And that would also involve us playing somewhere else for a couple of years, okay, if we did that kind of major reno. So between the cost, having to play somewhere else, and the opportunity at Brook Park, it just made more sense to go to Brook Park, which, as Dee said, is 12 miles from downtown. It's right across from the airport. And I think you know this, but maybe a lot of our fans listening today don't know this. 2/3 of our fans that come to a game at our current Huntington Field come from outside Cuyahoga County, 2/3. So that's 67%. So I think they're all excited. Dee and I spend a lot of time down in Columbus, as you know, with our soccer team. Sure. And the people in Columbus are very excited because all of a sudden, depending on where you live, it's an hour and a half, hour 45, ingress, egress easy, parking easy, et cetera. And I'll just say coming to our current stadium, it's a challenge.
Yeah, and I think one other thing, I think that it opens up 22 more acres on the lakefront that could create the most exciting lakefront in the country. So you have to kind of think, okay, we're going to be able to open the lakefront and develop it. We're going to be able to have this transformational dome in Brook Park. We're going to be able to do the riverfront, and you're going to have a new airport. I mean, that is pure growth for this area, and it's a growth mindset that we've needed for a long time.
And to that point, you guys obviously go to owners' meetings. You speak with other owners. And I know that the architect's the same one who did Minnesota, for example. Those domes and what you've seen out there in Los Angeles, they're so much more than football stadiums. And I would imagine they would tell you that this has changed probably our economics and the economics of the region because of the events it can attract.
The Wilf family that owns Minnesota are really good friends with Dee and I. They're also in the MLS. They own the Orlando, and they're good friends of ours. And Minneapolis weather, we have tough weather here. Minneapolis is really tough. And so building this dome facility, we'll go from having 10 events a year in our current stadium to having all kinds of events. And I mean, I think it's really important for everybody to understand that, yes, there'll be 10 NFL games and hopefully more, but there'll also be a chance to have national championship games in football, Final Four games in basketball, men's and women's. There'll be a chance to have the Sweet 16 here. The Women's World Cup has come to the U.S. in 31. We will put in a bid for that. Would we have gotten a bid in? If we'd had it, we'd have had a bid for the Men's World Cup, which comes next year, as you know. So you have to think big and broad. All the concerts that we've missed that go to Detroit or go somewhere else, Indianapolis, will now come here. So it is going to be transformational. I know there's people who are concerned about what's it going to do to downtown. Well, let's just take the litmus test for stadiums is, can you get Taylor Swift? We didn't get that, okay? With this new facility, we would get that. The people that travel to these big concerts, we know it when we have our concerts, 40 to 50% of the people come from outside the county, and a lot of them drive a long way. The 2 hotels we're going to add at Brook Park, no way will they have the ability to take care of everybody that wants to come to a concert or a game. I was talking to one of our good friends the other day, and he's got sons that are like 9 and 11. He takes them to one away Browns game, and he said, no matter if the stadium is downtown or it's 25 miles from downtown, I always stay downtown because I want my sons to get the experience of that metro area, feel the city, et cetera. So the opportunity, if you think right now, you fly into Cleveland, and I'll just say our airport doesn't present itself well. And then you look across the street, and there's 175 acres of what I would call industrial wasteland, okay? That was an old Ford plant that at one point in time employed 22,000 people. Unbelievable amount of jobs for this area that's just sitting there. Well, you don't start off saying, man, this is an awesome area. With the airport being redone in 4 or 5 years, and with what we're going to build there, now when people come to Cleveland, they're going to put an awesome face forward on, man, what a cool airport. Look at this facility. I had no idea Cleveland had something like this. So these use the word transformative several times, and I think that's right. And also think things have to be staged. And so Dan Gilbert and Bedrock are doing a great job down on the river. They're building their practice facility there, a big facility with Cleveland Clinic, all kinds of residential. We'll be going at about the same time down here in Brook Park. We hope to start moving dirt in October and November and start coming out of the ground in the first quarter. And I think the lakefront will take a little bit more time. The infrastructure has to be put in place, but areas have to absorb new growth. Sure. And so I actually think the timing is going to be really good.
All right, you kind of talked about, and we'll get into a little more about just Northeast Ohio, your overall vision for what this can mean, and I think you've touched on it quite a bit, but what do you hope this does for the team? I mean, I think there's a part of it when you see a new stadium, a new dome, it can be attractive to players, and it also, if you can put the best team on the field, it eliminates a lot of variables and allows your talent to shine.
Yeah, listen, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say, and Dee and I take full blame, we have not done the job on the field we should, and we bear full responsibility. And if anybody deserves a great stadium and a great team, it's the Cleveland Browns fans. You deal with them every day. We have the world's greatest fans. We are going to deliver a world-class stadium. I could argue it's the best stadium in the country, one of the best in the world. We need to develop the same kind of team. I do think a dome stadium, and you're with us when we go on the road, does give you an advantage with the home field because that noise is just packed in there tighter. And we hope this will become not only a great experience for our fans, but a terrible experience for the visiting team because it is a, quote, hard place to play.
And you already have the dog pound now. Imagine
exactly.
that when that sound is coming right back down off of the roof.
Speaking of dog pound, I was thinking, we were talking the other day, and this has been a long process, as you said, Nathan, to work this out, but I can't tell you how excited we are to see dirt moved, to see steel be put up, the first seat put in the dog pound. I mean, that is so exciting. And dog pound participants, we're going to give you an even better experience you have now because you're going to be closer to the field.
Yeah, I think everything we've done in the planning process for the new Dome Stadium is fan first.
Yep.
You know, what can we do to create the best experience for the fan? That's talking about the unique food service. You know, we're going to have some really great experiences, just everything about the concourse. And we've thought about, you know, what's the experience going to be like for the fan, what the plaza looks like. I mean, it's kind of walking in the fans' shoes to create the best experience for them, because we know now it's been a pretty rough experience for them, and we want to make sure that every detail is fan first.
Think about this. We're going to have 12 to 14,000 surface parking lots, not a parking garage, surface parking lots, which makes it real easy. Okay, we're going to have a great place to tailgate, but if you think about 4 fans coming in a car, 4 times 14 is 56. It seats 65. Almost everybody is going to be able to park very close to the stadium, whereas right now, I'll just say it's not that way.
And that's part of that fan experience. And you guys are so fan-focused. Everything we do here, when we come into this building every day, it's about giving the fans the best experience. And I think, obviously, as you alluded to, on the field, we'll take care of a lot of that. But in the things that we can control, that's a big deal. And you talked earlier about kind of your legacies, right? That this would be there when you are not here. This will be here when JW and Whitney may not be here. How important is that to you that you're going to be able to come into this community and have an opportunity to do something that truly transforms, if we've used that word, this area for generations to come?
Well, we've always said that, you know, this team belongs to this community.
Yep.
I mean, we have, you know, we knew that from day one and have carried that with us. That we're just stewards of it for a time. And we want to make sure we're the best stewards possible. And that's the reason the Dome Stadium has become so important, because we think it's so important for this community to think big, to have vision, to really be excited about what this community can look like. So I think for us, it's not about us.
Sure.
It's about Cleveland and Northeast Ohio and what it means to be citizens from here. I mean, this is a unique place. We have fallen in love with it. We're adopted. I guess we're somewhat adopted here, but love this area, love this region. So it's not about our legacy. It's actually about the legacy of the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think Dee and I feel a little uncomfortable when you say legacy, because that's, well, you're talking about all about yourself. I think what we'd say is our parents raised us that when you're in a community, you give back. And whether it's, you know, stay in the game, that Dee and her team have done such a great job encouraging kids to come to school every day, because we know that sets you up not only for school success, but life success, whether it's been the football fields, all the inner city fields we built that, you know, have artificial turf. We've improved the stands, the lighting, et cetera. We've done the same thing in Columbus, building mini pitches. So we have given back to the community, and we will continue to do so. And really, this is a great way for us to give back to the community by building this really mixed-use entertainment district with a facility that it won't be used this much, but could be used 365 days. That'll be here long after we're here. Is a great way for us to give back. I really can't think of a better way for us to give back than what we're doing here.
I think we've assembled a terrific team. I mean, the architects, HKS, you know, Lincoln Developers. I mean, we have this incredible team working together to make sure that the experience is going to be just perfect and also fit with what this region is all about.
And I love that you guys have talked about the passion of these fans and how deserving they are, and what you're going to give them is a a facility and an experience that matches their excellence as fans, their passion, and hopefully it leads to a lot of winning and a lot of great memories.
That's right. And that's the great thing about sports is that, you know, it was interesting watching the Masters. I know you're a big golfer, and that was during a really tough time for the country and for a certain extent for the world. And a young man from Northern Ireland seeks a 5-foot putt, and everybody goes crazy. Sports do bring us together.
Yeah.
And you might be for this candidate or that candidate, or you might believe in this or that. But when you're sitting next to each other in the dog pound or, you know, at a Cavs game or a Guardians game, we're all rooting for the same team. And that's the great thing about sports. I mean, it gives us a break from real life where we can focus on our team winning the game, cheering for that team, and having fun with our friends.
Yeah, Cleveland's so fortunate to have three major sports teams.
Really
and,
is.
And obviously, I think one of the reasons we do is because we have such a great fan base. We have fans that really believe in sports and love sports, and it really does unite us as a community. A really great story about what we're about.
Well, thank you guys for the time. Thank you for the monster investment. You talked about over $2 billion from your family into this and what should be transformative for this region, for this team, for this fan base who is so deserving. And I think everybody's just really excited to get this going.
We hope they are. We're very excited.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it.